tuned in to Sports from the Hoodwood, the internet's premier location for no-nonsense commentary, insight, and opinion on the world of sports. Here now, the man with 100% certified fresh taste, your host, KJ Green.
Down the stretch in the Hoodwood we come for this mid-July show. Thank you again for your participation and listening in Sports from the Hoodwood. We do this every Wednesday. I will be sure to give you the email for correspondence and whatnot for the show. But as the home stretch commences, we have Phat Dap and Head Slap of the Week. Phat Dap, we were talking about Joey Votto earlier with the bases clearing double against the Tribe Tuesday night. I got to give Phat Dap to the fan in Chicago who chided the security guard at Wrigley Field for not recognizing the Reds All-Star and former MVP Joey Votto. Joey Votto was heading into Wrigley Field last Friday, and was more or less stopped by the security guard who did not recognize Votto. And Votto was, with the entrance to Wrigley Field. If you've ever been to Chicago and been to Wrigley Field, you know Wrigley Field is right there in the middle of town. So you can literally cross the street and be at a bar, or cross the street and be at somebody's house. So where the player's entrance is right off of the parking lot, a really small player's parking lot. So fans are right there and can watch players come in for both teams. Well, the security guard stopped Joey Votto, and Votto looks around and is like, "Who am I?" And one of the fans were like, "Yo, that's the man. That's Votto, the MVP. I'll let him in." And Votto gives the fan gives him dap and walks on in. The security guard's like, and the fan is basically giving the security guard the business for not recognizing one of the premier players in Major League Baseball, which goes back to what I said about the All-Star game being relevant. How many players would you be able to recognize if they walk right up to you? I mean, me living again in Hoodwood, being close to Cincinnati, I know a lot of the Reds faces, from like Joey Votto, Billy Hamilton, Scooter Gennett. Some of those players I would recognize, but there are a lot of players I wouldn't recognize. You pull out a lot of these players, except for maybe Bryce Harper, Justin Verlander, Jose Altuve, you wouldn't recognize them face value. And MLB needs to work on putting more of their players out there as faces of the game. But Phat Dap to that fan who recognized Joey Votto and set the security guard straight. Now the head slap someone, I think it would be a permanent head slap if I could make it, and it's a little too easy to do sometimes. But a head slap, somebody please turn LeVar Ball off. Somebody tell this jeering, grinning idiot, this buffoon who continues to make a fool of himself with his braggadocious, pugnacious attitude, somebody turn him off. He's making a fool of himself. Yeah. I know he correctly deduced that LeBron James will be coming to L.A., but LeVar Ball is out of his head thinking that Lonzo Ball will be keeping a proven player, a proven all-star, someone who has won an NBA title in Rajon Rondo on the bench. And as much as I hate giving Kentucky Wildcats love, Rajon Rondo is, I still think, better than someone like Lonzo Ball. And I don't want to hear all you metrics people talking about how he's the future of the franchise and how he has. Have you seen this dude's jump shot? His jump shot is uglier than some of my ex-girlfriends without makeup. And it's hideous to watch. It is sickening to think that LeVar Ball, the grinning, jeering idiot that he is going to be talking like he's running the team, like Lonzo, LiAngelo, and LaMelo are going to be playing alongside LeBron and winning championships. The Lakers will win nothing with more than one ball playing on the court. LeBron will be running that team. Lonzo Ball had better take notes and keep up. And LeVar Ball should just keep his mouth shut. And now let's have a final word from the Wood. Sitting so shady. There are reports of allegations by a former girlfriend of Bills running back LaShawn McCoy that he perpetrated abuse on her in her Atlanta home that she was renting from McCoy. Now, McCoy maintains his innocence and says that the ex-girlfriend was squatting in the home that they once shared for close to a year now. She's been squatting for close to a year, and he's been trying to remove her from that domicile. Now, McCoy maintains that he wasn't even in the Atlanta area Tuesday, and he was in Miami training for the upcoming season. Now, that's almost 700 miles away. That's a mean trick. If he was in Miami and can prove it, that allegation goes right out the window. Now, this is reading like a bad whodunit. If McCoy wasn't in the area and can prove it, then it's on the female who's looking like a gold digger. If Shady is lying, he should face the full weight of the law. And I truly believe that he should be more or less run out of the league. I mean, doing something like that may have ended his football career. That said, I have thoughts on two fronts about the abuse. Why is it that some women try to use the abuse threat to gain leverage? Why do women do that? They will say, I'll say you abuse me. And knowing a man will more or less lose if something like that comes up. Now, please make no mistake. As a father of two daughters, I do not and never will condone abuse nor discount its presence and impact. But there seems to be that fringe that use threat of abuse to be able to go to the police as leverage to get what they want. I personally was a victim of this, so I know firsthand what kind of bullshit this can cause. I can look out my work office window and look right at the spot where the allegations were leveled at me. And I'm internally thankful that the police believe my denial. But then there's the other point, that there are way too many physical altercations going on. You have names like Greg Hardy, to Ray Rice, to Adrian Peterson, to this particular allegation with Shady McCoy. Men need to be men and not take anger out on women and children. This shit has to stop. And that's the final word from the Wood. Well, with the music coming up in the background, you know what that means. That means your time in the Hoodwood is just about done, and I thank you for your visit. If you want to correspond with me, the email is kjgreen@blackbanditproductions.com. You can send that email to me for show thoughts, ideas on topics, praise, and criticism. I'm not thin-skinned. You can you can rip me to shreds if you want. Now, you can catch the podcast weekly on a number of outlets. On Facebook at Black Bandit Productions and Enterprises, and on Spreaker, as well as Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Sports from the Hoodwood, and Twitter at KJGreen20. So that's that. From the Hoodwood until next week, fellow sports fans, I'm KJ Green, 30.
Sports from the Hoodwood
is a Black Bandit Productions and Enterprises presentation
of a 551 audio and films production.